the Commission, of course, continues to express its solidarity with the people of Zimbabwe and also its support for the efforts to resolve these socioeconomic conditions, but also how these socioeconomic conditions are resolved is something on which Zimbabweans do have a stake, and their say needs to be the basis on which these issues are to be resolved that way. And therefore, we do hope that there is adequate willingness in order to ensure that whatever steps that are taken at the level of the state are in accord with and do observe human rights standards provided for within the framework of the national constitution and also under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. And in this respect, at the African Commission, we welcome the fact that lawyers, human rights organizations are able to extend their support to people affected by the conditions currently prevailing, including those who are arrested.
We're now seeing increased disillusionment from within Zimbabwe, its neighbors, parts of the continent, and even beyond, as people are crying out for help for the people of Zimbabwe. I mean, how much is the Commission concerned about this?
The jurisprudence of the African Commission itself prohibits certain acts, such as, for example, the use of violence by state security institutions. It's only when you are faced with an imminent threat to life or to bodily integrity that you resort to violence, or you resort to the use of force by state security institutions. Where there is no threat from citizens to life or to the bodily integrity of anybody, using violence is not something that is allowed. So basically, arbitrary deprivation of life, and causing bodily harm to a person are things that are prohibited under the African Charter. It's only in exceptional circumstances that state security institutions can use them. It's only as a last resort measure, and when what they wish to achieve couldn't be achieved otherwise. Okay, that is one. The other thing, obviously, is also nobody is allowed to be arbitrarily deprived of his or her liberty. Again, arbitrary detention, arbitrary arrest and detention is something that is not in accord with the standards of the African Charter.
The Commission allows for disillusioned parties to bring forth their complaints. How can the people in Zimbabwe who are feeling that they are really pressed, how can they bring to you their complaints?
So, the African Commission have different mechanisms and different tools. One of them is obviously to file a complaint with the African Commission on Human and People's Rights on violations allegedly perpetrated in Zimbabwe. That is one possibility. The other possibility, obviously, is to approach the country rapporteur for Zimbabwe, or if there are specific thematic areas of concern, to approach the thematic special mechanisms. So we have special mechanisms, for example, on freedom of expression and access to information, on the rights of women, and so on and so forth. So those issues that fall within those categories can be dealt with through that process. Others can be addressed within the framework of the complaints procedure.
And how much can the Commission do if such complaints are brought before you?
So, what the Commission does is basically its influence or its role first is in terms of forming and providing an independent legal opinion about the state of things. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, and then of course on the basis of forming that independent, fact-based legal opinion, then it formulates recommendations on what needs to happen. All right. This is therefore what you may consider to be a rather persuasive role that the Commission plays. It is a legal interpretation role that the Commission plays. It is one of really moral influence that the Commission can exercise. It's also one of assisting states, parties to the African Charter, in order to enable them, for them to carry out and shoulder their obligations under the African Charter. So the Commission basically avails its independent legal expertise in order to ensure that states are able to live up to their obligations. These are the kinds of things that the Commission does. So the Commission engages in an exchange, in a dialogue with state authorities, so that state authorities do appreciate the kind of obligations that they have, not only appreciate, but also how they legally are expected to shoulder and to live up to that legal obligation that they have under the African Charter.
In terms of influence, how much support does your commission need in order to effectively assist the people of Zimbabwe, probably in the shortest time possible, to be able to enjoy the human rights that they're complaining are being taken away from them right now?
So I think all different actors do play various roles. I think certainly in situations like this one, it is about really creating the necessary environment that would enable de-escalation of the situation, that would also allow certain corrective measures to be taken. Okay, and for that, the influence, but also the advice and expertise of neighboring countries, sub-regional organizations such as SADC, the African Union, broadly speaking, I think they do indeed have a role to play. This is a very important situation in respect of which indeed different actors can make a significant contribution in order to help that the situation doesn't deteriorate any further, but also the course of the situation is reversed and corrective actions are taken. Definitely, I think all of these different actors do have a role to play. I think there is definitely an opportunity and possibility for addressing this situation. Obviously, that requires engagement. I think nothing would replace that, and this engagement needs to happen from all actors at the regional level as well as at the continental level.